Hello, Chris Evans here. Welcome once again to the Best of the Breakfast Show podcast with Sky from Virgin Radio. Coming up, the Libertines' Pete Doherty refuses to turn the pages of his eye-opening new memoir, A Likely Lad, but I promise I tried. Rising star Morfydd Clark tells us all about the highly anticipated launch of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, via Prime Video on Sky. BAFTA-nominated actor Samson Kayo brings us news of the return of his brilliant Sky comedy series Bloods. F1's finest David Croft gets us fired up ahead of the Dutch Grand Prix, live and exclusive on Sky Sports F1. A Michelin star friend of the show, Tom Kerridge, makes our tummies rumble with his latest cookbook, Real Life Recipes. So, Ginger Jack, kick things off. Tell us who's up first.
From front pages to main stages, this next guest is truly a musical mythical figure. And you can read his story in the new book, A Likely Lad, which is out now. I was even in a cover band of his. No need to mock me. He's the master of indie and poetry. It's Pete Doherty!
Morning, Peter.
Morning, what a lovely introduction.
You like that one?
That was right, it was very sweet.
So, I read your book.
Can I just ask what the name of his cover band was? Because
Of course you can.
Yep, it was called The Castros.
all right, okay.
Because?
We were going for a Che Guevara t-shirt stage, and we wanted to be a bit different.
Because it wasn't the Luton Libertines then. I saw them one.
Oh, no.
Who else have you seen?
So the Luton Libertines,
Yeah.
and I saw one in Argentina. The Wastrels, I think, an all-female South American colour band. Yeah.
I love it. I love it when you get all-female versions of male bands as a tribute band. We had one. We were in LA a couple of weeks ago, and it was who was it? It was Guns N' Roses, and it was what were they called? It was one of the songs. Paradise Kitty.
Oh, that's it.
Paradise Kitty. Peter.
You saw Gums and Noses?
Gums and Noses.
seen
Yeah.
them, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. It's nice to see you, Chris.
Nice to see you.
Finally, you haven't changed at all.
Oh, well, thanks very much. Thanks. It's great to see you. You were slated to come on this show a couple of months back, and I read your book cover to cover, and then it didn't happen for one reason or another. But we talked about the book, the whole show that you were due to come on, and then at the end you could make because you went very well. So we gave it a massive plug, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But because of the nature of my job, I have to read loads of books every week. And I actually can't remember much about your book. Was it similar to you compiling the book in the first
There were
place?
script problems from the start, Chris. Yeah.
Tell us about the story of the book, because you are somewhat reluctant to talk to most people about it, but not us, thank goodness.
No, well, I saw a photo that you put up with yourself reading it outside a pub, and with a big smile on your face, and that was the idea, really. I wanted to write something to put smiles on people's faces, but when my mum read it, she said, anyone who reads this is going to kill you or break a leg or something. And she insisted on taking loads of stuff out, and most of the funny bits as well. So I was a bit sorry about some of the editing. And lots of people who read it in my life, mostly people who I love and care about, took bits out, and then other people's lawyers took bits out. And also, I want to get this in, I don't want to slag the book off completely, but it was supposed to be in the third person, as in Pete did this, Pete did that, but they changed it to I.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the memoir that I'd wanted, but but it was nice to see you smiling at it, and I thought, I'll have another crack.
I literally couldn't put it down. I mean, it is unbelievable. I see. Here's the thing. You know about this, of course you do. From writing and recording songs, we as fans, we don't know what you've left out, and that is the art of production. And it's not dissimilar where this book's concerned. I don't know what on the sort of metaphorical cutting room floor as far as this book's concerned. I thought it's gripping. I mean, goodness knows what's left out from what's in it.
I think the difficulty is, if I'm honest, is I have trouble reading it myself. If I pick it up to read it, the actual book, I can't really get through it. There's so much in there.
But it's all triggering for you as well, isn't it?
It is completely triggering. It's all bombardments, one thing after another. And yeah, the time that I spoke to this fella, Simon, the ghost writer, if you will, actually the writer,
the report, journalist.
I just got clean, and I wasn't doing therapy, but I was kind of, it was during the pandemic, so I was just in and being clean, and it all just came out as if I was talking to a therapist. I mean, I just told him everything, and now looking back, it's just it's a bit much. It's a bit of an avalanche.
Do you regret doing it? Because I got to read it.
Well, the thing was, we got the advance, and then that just got spent, and so there was no question of not being able to do it. We had to do it, and there we are. Yeah.
There's quite a lot of chat about advances disappearing in the book as well, isn't there?
Where did it all go?
I know, where did it all go?
I
don't know. How do we begin a conversation about it? Do we pick chapter titles, or do we just? How would you like to do this?
I did think about this beforehand. The only thing that sprung to mind, well, in relation to you, was a story that I read years ago when you first became hyper famous.
Yeah.
And you were asked how it changed your life, and you said that every day you bought a brand new pair of socks in the morning. Yeah. I don't know why this stuck. Is this true? I don't know if I made this up.
You haven't made it up, but you've sort of misremembered it. But
so I think I was a 15 or 16-year-old kid, and it was a time of like TFI Friday, and Gaza coming on to all the cigarettes, and you had loads of wicked bands on, and then I thought, what have I got to do to make it in the industry, and what's it going to be like? And then he was like, now I don't wash socks.
Right,
I just buy a new pair, and they're all red.
What's
right? And then I looked down as I was crossing the street, coming out of the tube station this morning, and look.
See what's going down there.
Cycle of life, And here you are, the centre of your media empire.
Sockless,
but with class. And here I am punting my book, trying to work out how to sell it to people.
Swings and roundabouts, Peter. Swings. So the story there is, that's Elton John's life.
You stole it.
I was recounting how Elton John lives, about, and with regard to fame as far as he's concerned. So he wears a brand new pair of socks every day, and he has a brand new toothbrush every day. And I was doing what you're doing now, but with reference to him. I didn't do that, but I said that's what fame means to some people.
They must have twisted your words.
Maybe. Oh no! Get out of here!
It was front page stuff at the time.
Really? Oh my goodness me! Must have been a quiet news day.
Chris forgets his roots, buys new socks every day.
I know. So, what do you want to do band wise?
Well, the plan is, apparently Carl wants to go and write some new songs. Well, I do too. So he's booked us 10 days in Jamaica. Right. So that's going to be a slog, but
Is it?
We'll get
24-hour party people. Here we go.
No, au contraire.
No, I know what you mean. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm ticking along.
Out of 10. You're not allowed a 7.
Why not?
Because 7's just sitting on the fence.
6.
6. Oh, I was over an 8. Pete, thanks for coming in.
7.
I'm so glad I put that snap on Instagram. For this, if nothing else. Pete Doherty, a likely lad, it's out now. Buy it or don't buy it. If you do buy it and you see Pete, probably best not to tell him. Thanks, man.
All the best, Chris. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
The best of the Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.
Virgin Radio.
Short people with giant hairy feet and handsome blondes who can handle a bowl. No, I'm not talking about Wales. It's Middle-earth. Our next guest stars as Galadriel in the brand new TV series Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which is out tomorrow. You shall not pass! Whoa, that got a little dark. Well, here's one actor to rule them all. It's Morfydd Clark!
Yes, Morfydd Clark! Beat that intro. What do you think, Morfydd?
Thank you very much.
Morfydd, congratulations to you and everybody involved in this show. No pressure. The most expensive TV show ever made, $1 billion is what they're saying. And it appears to be true. Straight off the bat, Morfydd, you appear, from episode 1, you appear to be an amazing swimmer.
Yeah, I thought I could swim, and then went to my first lesson, and he was like, right, let's go straight back to basics. And so that was a shock, yeah.
Well, see,
I can.
I struggle with front crawl, right? But you were, cutting through the water by the end of whatever this person taught you.
I think there is some secret things getting me looking so fast, and a wonderful double who probably appears a lot.
Well, I think we all need a swimming double like that, if they're available. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, first 2 episodes available to watch from tomorrow. I mean, the world is very excited about this. Sky are really confident about this. It's not Sky's show, but obviously we work with Sky. We're sponsored by Sky, and they're so excited about it because they know the whole world's going to be drawn to this. As many people were drawn to Leicester Square a couple of nights ago for the premiere.
Yeah.
I run through Leicester Square every morning on my way here, and I saw the build of the set, and I thought they must be filming some of it here, but that was just for the PR. What was it like?
Oh, well, they made a whole elven forest. It was incredible. I mean, it's been a series of pinch me moments, and last night was No, the night before.
Night before, wasn't
was
it?
a big one.
It's all melding into one.
It is.
Okay, so how was the premiere? Who was there? How big was it? How important was it? How many of these are you doing across the planet?
So that was our 5th premiere.
And were they all that big?
No, that was the big finale. But when I heard that was going to be the big one after our first one, I was like, well, what can they possibly do? And then obviously it's build a forest in Leicester Square. But it was great. There's a really big cast. There's 22 of us. And that was the final one where everyone was together. So we got Lenny Henry there at last.
He's brilliant, isn't he? But everybody's brilliant in this. Hair and makeup ridiculous. CGI amazing. Sets amazing. Where did you film it?
We filmed in New Zealand.
Right.
Yes.
And the big water scenes, were they like in Elstree or somewhere like that, or around the corner, or was that
No, we had a huge water tank that they actually built in Auckland for the Meg.
Right.
So we took over from Jason Statham, which was surreal.
Did you see him?
No. But I was like, he's been here.
Did you tag him on the way out? Okay, over to you guys. Over to you, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power people. Now, of course, your character has been established by another amazing actress in the past. Would you like to speak to that for a moment or two?
So I was 11 when the films came out and was quite obsessed with the elves, particularly Cate Blanchett, who played Galadriel in the films. And I still can't believe that my name and hers are said in the same sentence at times, to be honest.
Well, and will be forevermore. And Galadriel, back in the original trilogy, she was centuries away from perhaps, taking over. Your Galadriel is a lot closer to that happening.
A lot closer.
Continuing the journey where she started.
Oh yes, and she's a lot more, little more arrogant, a little bit more ferocious, and a bit more frightening, maybe.
I can't believe there's a rock-off.
Yeah.
I love the rock-off. I don't know how much you want us to say about. So much happens in episode 1.
Yeah.
I love the way. I love. It's almost like there's a 3-minute sequence which is almost like previously on Lord of the Rings, but it doesn't say that, but it sort of gets you up to date. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is great because I hadn't seen any of the movies.
Really?
They passed me by. I don't know why. I could figure out if I went back what I was up to at the time. But I wasn't part of that roller coaster. But I'm fully on board for this one, and all that's fantastic. But there is this aliens or giants landing from outer space or wherever it may be, from fictional lands to maybe lands that exist still today across oceans and various valleys and things. But there's this amazing rock-off. It's like a giant game of Conkers, but it's really important, isn't it?
It is. And apparently the set was like a party when they were doing the rock-off.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
I bet it was. Should we describe what the rock-off is?
Yes.
Are we allowed to do that? I don't know. How much... What you've been briefed about this, how much can you say and how much can't you say?
I don't know. I'm in a state of constant terror about that. Yeah. So many secrets. But the rock-off is...
Has anybody else called it a rock-off?
No, this is the first time. Yes. But yeah, it's 2 axes, 2 rocks, 2 people.
Yes.
And you break until you can break no more.
You break until it breaks you, basically, until you're broken.
Yeah, while being screamed at by a horde of dwarves.
And so there's the dwarves and the elves. Mm-hmm. And there's the elves have been sort of disregarding the dwarves for a while.
Yeah, underestimating.
Yeah, what do you want to say about that relationship?
I've always felt an affinity with the dwarves because I feel there's a Welshness to them. And they're much less refined than the elves.
Yeah, but they get on with it, don't they?
They do.
They get a job done.
They do. And Khazad Dûm, which if you've watched the films, is sadly been overrun by orcs when we meet it in Lord of the Rings. But at this point, it's at the height of its splendour. Yeah. It's gorgeous.
So what happens next?
So we'll be filming season 2 soon, right. And we'll be filming season 2 in Britain. So really excited to meet like a new crew, get back on the horse, and get going again.
Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
Congratulations! I'm really happy for you. I'm happy do you know what? I'm happy for the business. I'm happy for the fact we can talk about it, that Sky can rave about it. I'm happy for Amazon. I'm just happy for, the public have got a great product to watch, and it's another great creative art being celebrated. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, and there's lots and lots of people worked for many years doing it. So
and it's taking the art of TV or the medium of TV to a different level, and it's not leaving everybody else behind. Hopefully, it's saying, "Come on, over this way now."
Yeah, absolutely.
If you can. And where are you going to be filming in Great Britain?
It's not decided yet, but obviously, I'm like Maybe Wales.
Maybe Wales.
Maybe we'll get some Welsh mountains in.
Yeah, I think Wales could do all those lands,
Yeah.
couldn't it? And more. The Gower.
The Gower.
Put the Gower on the
Go
map.
to Tenby.
But every time we talk about the Gower, we get loads of texts going, shh, don't tell everybody. It's too gorgeous.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, horrible there.
Okay,
Don't go.
Morfydd, great to see you.
Lovely to see you.
All
too.
right,
Thank you.
amazing. You're more than welcome. Explore Middle-earth with a range of exclusive character stories and behind-the-scene clips. Just say, show me the rings of power into your Sky Q or Glass remote. How would you say that? Show me the rings of power.
Show me the rings of power.
Oh, see, now there you go. You got it all going on. And it's all about the 80s, our brand new 80s radio station. It's a great day for radio, telly, film, and the creative arts. And it's heralded with the Rings of Power on Amazon tomorrow. Episodes 1 and 2 available to watch, and then weekly from there on in.
The best of the Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.
Virgin Radio.
Watching shows about paramedics is tough and often makes you cry. This show is no different, except those tears will be of uncontrollable laughter. Our next guest returns for Series 2 of Sky Original Bloods, with Part 2 available on Sky Comedy and Now TV this Thursday. He makes an ambulance look more like a Lambo. Wee-woo, wee-woo! Give it up for Samson Kayo!
All right, Samson.
Yes, do you do that every day?
Yeah, he does it every day.
You're
But that's all he
fantastic.
does.
You're
That's
brilliant.
all he. We wrap him in cotton wool. He does that, then he goes back into his cotton wool
Freeze
again.
him.
Yeah. What a day is all that's good for you. Apart from Fridays when we have a few more. Samson, how was the Notting Hill Carnival?
Oh, it was beautiful, man. It was missed. When was the last one? 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was so excited.
How do you feel today?
I'm good.
You're
I'm
right.
good. Yeah, I was being professional. I was like, I've got to do Chris Evans in the morning so I won't go too mad. I was in bed by 1:15.
Which is fine.
Which
It's
is
fine,
all right.
isn't it?
But no, it was beautiful, man. It was a lovely celebration. It was packed, though.
Yeah.
It was really
I used to live
packed.
in the middle of it.
Is it?
I used to live on Kensington High Street, and it was not Kensington High Street, Kensington Church Street.
Yeah.
And I used to love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh, Chris got money.
But being in the mix there, good few years ago now, but
Yeah.
being in the mix, it was so good.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Just a different kind of floats. We kept trying to catch different.
Were you on a
floats.
float?
Well, we were looking for one. We were supposed to be on the home float, one of my friends' float.
You lost your float.
But we couldn't find it.
Oh, my goodness me.
We were stuck in the
But
middle.
presumably it was in the parade.
It was in the parade. It was there. It was definitely there. But every time we started to go around, we just get taken away by another float and another float.
Right.
And by that time, it was time to go home.
Oh my goodness me! Float on. Well, Samson, congratulations on Bloods. It's a rarefied thing because it's funny and you care about it. Now, all the best sitcoms have a heart. We know that, but a lot of them sort of stand alone from one week to the next. But yours continues. For people who don't know what it is, because
Yes.
we've got no point in preaching to the choir.
Yes.
Let's try and convert some people. What is it?
So Bloods is basically a comedy, paramedic-based comedy about a gang of paramedics and their day-to-day, basically. And I play Malik, who is like a Lone Ranger paramedic who thinks he can do it all by himself, drive the ambulance whilst healing someone at the same time. But he's paired up with Wendy, played by the amazing Jane Horrocks, as we all know. And their relationship starts off quite rocky for a while, and then it starts to grow and blossom as they start to understand each
Yeah,
other.
but you've got two alpha people, haven't you? You've got an alpha male,
Absolutely.
alpha female.
Exactly.
You know, and nobody wants to play second dog.
Yeah, but then you've got an alpha female from the north and an alpha male from the deep South London. So merging those two is always going to be hilarious, you know?
Yeah, and other characters that we like in it, other crews.
Oh, amazing characters. Julian Barrett is in it. Kevin Gary and Sam Campbell, who just won the Edinburgh Fringe Award, actually. I just found out. Sam Campbell.
Very good.
Lucy Punch, Adrian Scarborough, some amazing characters.
Right, now you're dealing with the emergency services, you're dealing with the ambulance service, and so you've got to get the important things right in
Yes.
between the laughs, haven't you? And you were co-creator of this show. Just take us through that. Whose idea was it? Let's do a sitcom in an ambulance station.
Well, before I started acting, I was going to be a paramedic. I remember I went to the job centre and they had these, they had like a job for ambulance support drivers,
Right.
which is where you drive the ambulance and the paramedics next to you. So I was like, oh, this sounds like a bit of fun. I might as well do that. And then I got my first acting job and I was like, I kind of always wanted to be a paramedic. So I thought, let me write it. And me and Nathan Bryan came up with the idea together and created the show. Yeah, it was wicked.
Well, as I say, it's got this big heart as well that carries on right through, and it's got the big laughs. I mean, it's so cool. The first episode of the second half of the series, which we've all seen, episode 6.
Yes.
And you don't have to have seen any of them before, because you did this great thing at the beginning previously. And also, I love the way you throw to next week as well.
Yes.
And it gets me really excited about it.
We've got to do that now. There's got to keep people knowing what they're watching.
I really didn't used to like it. Previously on, I didn't mind, but coming up next week. But now I do like it. I don't know why, but I don't mind it anymore.
Do you know there's a lot of TV? I think there's so much TV that we're consuming that I feel like it's a busy space. So you kind of need
Same
to
with
keep
radio.
everyone.
You got to meet people where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't expect, you can't just throw out the welcome mat and hope they come and knock on your door. You've got to go and grab them by the scruff of the neck and never let them go, Samson. Never let them go. What do you like to say to people who haven't watched it and people who have? We've got a minute left. Get it out there.
Thank you, everyone who has watched Bloods. Really appreciate it.
It's really good, man.
Yes, thank you. New episodes 1st of September. 5 new episodes. It gets quite tense. But
and it's quite outrageous. It's very outrageous sometimes.
It's hilarious, man.
It's so normal, and therefore the outrageousness really sort of jumps out at you.
Yeah, that's what we kind of wanted to keep it that way. A lot of some of my friends are genuine paramedics, so we were like, look, if we're gonna make it funny, we have to make the emergencies. Yeah, we have to make it.
My mum was a nurse, and often that's the only thing that kept them going in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Exactly, just like, and you have to keep that energy, otherwise what they're doing is so important that to not have like a funny energy and a group, a family sort of environment will be difficult, so.
And where is your ambulance station actually in the real world?
Well, it's in one. First it was in South London in Lewisham, and then we moved it to North London, so hopefully we go back to South again.
So it's not in Slough?
Nah.
Okay. One of my mates, because we just finished our festival at the weekend, one of my mates said his favourite line for the weekend was when Jimmy Carr said, if you want to know what Slough was like in the 70s, go there now. Which I thought was unfair, but somebody else found it quite funny. Samson, thank you, mate.
Thank you so much for having me.
Are you going back to bed now?
I'm going back to bed. No, I got work.
Have you? What are you doing today?
I'm just doing a bit of writing.
Can you tell us anything about that?
It's about zombies.
That's
it.
You like a bit of zombie action?
Yeah, love it.
Inspired by
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder this time around. All right, Samson Kayo, one of the founder creators of The Brilliant Bloods. It really is a great show, honestly. 22-minute episodes. They're over before you know it, but they're really funny, and you really care about the characters, which is what it's all about. And if you don't believe me, see Only Fools and Horses, etc., etc., etc. Blood Series 2 Part 2 starts this Thursday, 1st September, Sky Comedy and Now TV. Catch up with episodes 1 to 5 now.
The best of the Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.
Virgin Radio.
I'm so hungry this morning I could eat my arm, especially if our next guest marinades, bastes and sizzles me to medium rare. His new cookbook, Real Life Recipes, is out tomorrow. Top TV judge to Michelin stars. He really is the king of food and beverage. So make your applause rise from a simmer to a boil and give it up for Tom Kerridge!
Morning, Tom!
Morning. And I want that every time I walk into work. If I can have that cut and recorded,
feel free
that's amazing.
to take him with you. It's not a problem. Tom, we've all had your book at home, and we've all been dog-earing our favourite pages. I'm going to kick off with mine. It's the self-sourcing, you sauce pot.
The chocolate and cherry pudding, you're going to say, aren't you?
Self-source. That's what it's called. It's called self-sourcing chocolate and cherry pudding. How does something self-source itself?
I got it. Well, there is a cheaty way, and that's probably by undercooking it, so it's still gooey in the middle. That's one way of self-source. It's kind of like you pour it over the top and you bake it, and it's such a it's a bit like a brownie, but it's
Tom,
lovely.
It looks off the charts good.
It's great, isn't it?
All right, let's stick with desserts because our kids were all over the desserts last night. Banana and chocolate chip cupcakes, of course.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's super tasty. The use of bananas is lovely. Mashing them up, getting them involved in it makes a big difference.
You brought in some carrot cake with orange cream cheese icing. Let's give it a go, guys.
Yes, get in there, guys.
Already halfway through it. It's absolutely lush.
Oh, it's good, isn't it? Like, do you know the thing about these recipes as well?
Good.
It's
Good.
Tom.
But they're kind of like, they're recipes we put together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're all, you can blag them, right? Go with it. Like, it's got like cumin in it, coriander, mixed spice, whatever. If you haven't got that, it's all right, throw a bit of something else
We're
in.
not into blagging, are we, Bassos? We're all about the detail here.
Absolutely that.
Of course we are. And what about see, I've got to whisper this. Pulled pork. What about the pulled pork recipe you got in there?
Yeah, it's delicious. I love pulled pork.
It's stunning.
Why you gotta whisper it?
Because it's Tash. Because she's fully vegan still.
Yeah, and of course
Some
that's why
vegan
we
boss.
did the carrot cake, obviously.
Beef shin and carrot stew. That's looking good. I'm going to allow myself meat once a week on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
No problem with that at all. Forget your French onion soup. Sorry, or to all the France people, but British onion soup. How does it differ? Looks good. Look, I mean, honestly, that looks absolutely gorgeous. Looking at page 178, British onion soup.
British onion soup.
Yeah.
The difference is that I made it. I mean, there you go. I'm not French. I've been there a couple of times.
It looks stunning.
I know.
What is the difference between yours and French onion soup?
Well, I made it. That's it. It's me using British beef, using those British onions, English onions. That is the difference.
There's beef in it.
Yeah. Well, there's beef. To be honest, there's beef. There's beef in French onion soup. It's normally with beef stock or veal stock.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Don't give that one to Tash, mate. You'll be in a whole world of trouble.
What I can do, I can deal with her on the sweet potato and kale curry, can't I?
Yeah, do you know what? There's quite a few veggie ones in here.
Yeah.
And a lot of one tray, one bakes, sweet and sours, lots of kind of like, lots of using fish, lots of using things that come, supermarket ingredients as well, like unashamedly using ready rolled puff pastry, jars of onion jam, pre-cooked beetroot, ready cooked pouches of rice or ready cooked pouches of lentils, but like ready cooked pouches of lentils, right? They're amazing. They're a thing that I've kind of like half discovered in the last couple of years of things great for making vegetarian flavours, kind of stews and things like that, but actually putting them through a normal beef bolognese or putting them through a beef stew or a lamb mince or something like that. What it does is it bulks things out. It gives it texture. It gives it extra flavour, makes it go a lot further, and it's actually cheaper as well.
See, extra and texture is textra.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you can have that on me.
I will have that.
I always try and give you something.
Oh, well, I've already got an intro that I've pinching and texture. Thanks, mate.
You've got an introducer you can pinch and take home. Here's another one, which one calls the rumpus at home. Sticky smoked tofu, broccoli and shiitake.
Yeah, that's one for Tash. That'll work really nicely.
By the way, it looked absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, so smoked tofu, right? So wasn't a big fan of tofu. Like, you go, how do you then make it work? But actually, the smoked stuff is giving it another layer of flavour.
Yeah.
Tofu, it needs to absorb flavour. So when you cook it with the sticky flavourings and with it, the honey, the soy,
sticky's the thing, isn't it?
all of a sudden, it comes to life. Texturally, you go, okay, it's great, and it becomes like a sponge, and it absorbs flavour, and it suddenly becomes something. It makes it come alive. It's great for the vegetarian. It'd be great for Tash, that.
Okay, and how's the gang? How's the staff? How's business?
Everything's amazing. Do you want me to finish the show with a really horrible, no, it's bad. It's bad. Prices are going up. Everything's a nightmare.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, well, mate, it's proper tough. But look, hospitality is resilient. It's fluid. We work really hard to try and make things work. But, the news yesterday, we heard so many that maybe 7 out of 10 pubs aren't going to survive with the way that...
all the help they can get.
All
because
the
it's
help
about
they can
community,
get.
and community can save lives.
Listen, it means so much. I'm very fortunate that I'm sat here talking to you with a 2 Michelin star pub that's the most expensive pub in the country, and it's established over 18 years. But actually, the pub community is much more. There's thousands and thousands of pubs up and down the country.
What can we do to help? Just go.
Go help them. Go in there, support them. Get in there. These wet-led pubs that had a really bumpy time over the last 2 years.
I don't know how some of them are still in business anyhow.
Well, there's a huge amount of debt burden that's sat there, and now we've got the cost of utility bills that are coming in. That really some of the prices that are being quoted are eye-watering, 500%, 600%, 700% increases. That businesses, small businesses like that, any business is not going to be able to keep hold of this without putting a bit of pressure on government and without people supporting them.
So I need to. So our brand new regime of starting cooking at home on Saturday instead of going out. Forget that. Okay, we're back out again. Yes,
you're back out again. Tell you what, you
See
can
you
do a mix
Friday
of the both. 5 days a week out.
Yeah,
2 days at home cooking.
That's going to work. Tom, thanks so much, man. It's great to see you.
Oh, lovely to see you too. Thanks for having me on, mate.
Brand new books out. Book number 9, Tom Kerridge Real Life Recipes, and also Pub in the Park. Tickets available at pubintheparkuk.com.
The best of the Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.
Virgin Radio.
Open a can of Tango. Quick step over to turn up your speaker and don't change the station as our next guest stars in Strictly Ballroom the Musical, touring the UK from the 26th of September. A hit movie with the greatest music. Is this the best musical ever written? Well, it must be with this ballroom sensation. It's Kevin Clifton!
Good morning, Kevin!
You should be in it, mate. That was brilliant.
How he doesn't hyperventilate, I've no idea. How are you, Kev?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. First things first, congratulations and celebrations. Forget Strictly Come Dancing. Forget Strictly Ballroom. It's going to be Strictly Winding, isn't it? In how many months' time? Because you're having a baby.
Yes, we're having a baby. Yeah, we're in that nice little lovely stage of just sort of going, yay, we're pregnant at the moment. But I'm sure everyone keeps telling us like our lives are going to completely change.
You and
in
the
a few
mighty
months'
Dooley. Do we have a due date?
I think it's January. Is when it's due.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
I
Well
should
done,
know
pal.
that, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah, it's okay. You got plenty of time for all that stuff. As long as everybody's fine, Stacey's fine, all
Yeah.
good, more than good.
She's good. Yeah,
She's
yeah.
she's extremely sort of well anyhow, isn't she? She's a very fit and healthy human being.
Yeah. Her belly is growing by the day.
How's
Like
the
we're
bump?
obsessed with it.
What kind of bump does she have?
What kind of
Bump.
Oh, bump. I thought you said what kind of bum does she have? What do you mean? What kind of bump?
Because
does
you
she
can have a
have?
Gucci bump.
A Gucci
Yeah,
bump.
you can have like the different kind of bumps, aren't there, Rachel?
Well, I imagine at the minute hers is still quite small and neat because she's so early on, isn't she?
Yeah, well, it's getting quite
it getting
big.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I bet she's got a Gucci bump. They call it a Gucci bump.
I haven't heard of a Gucci bump.
Yeah, you need to get to talk to Tash
Some
about
people
all
say
this.
they can tell whether it's a boy or a girl by the bump.
Yeah, that's because they're
It's not
insane.
Right, okay.
You don't know what flavour yet? You haven't? Do you know what
We
flavour?
do know, but we're not saying at the
I
moment.
think it's salt and vinegar. You think prawn cocktail, don't you?
Yeah.
Worcester sauce all the way.
Well, well done, Kev. You know, and it will change life. Of course, it will. But there's only joy on the other side of this journey.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Of course
Like we're
you
chilled
are.
at the
You're
moment,
really,
but we know
really
it's going to be
excited.
chaos soon. But
And what have you been doing for the last few months then? Because you didn't come to Carfest. Were you away? I think you're away, weren't you?
yeah, and I've been so busy with sort of other shows and then rehearsals. I was gutted to miss Carfest actually.
Well,
I love it.
Next year.
Yeah. So, because I think last time I was in talking to you, we were talking about War of the Worlds. We did that. Then I went back onto Singing in the Rain for a bit. And I've done a Burn the Floor reunion tour. And now I'm in rehearsals for Strictly Ballroom.
And so how many years have you been out of You Know What?
I left in 2020. 2019 was my last year.
Okay,
of
and
Strictly.
you wanted to do all the things you've done, and it seems to be going as well, if not better, than you ever hoped it might.
Yeah, well, because Strictly Ballroom was the one that I left for. Like, I got offered this part, and it was due to start in the September, and it was
Right.
like, I can't turn this down. This is everything I've always wanted to do. It's my dream to do this role. So I left Strictly Come Dancing, announced it, and then COVID hit.
Right.
So then it went into this, obviously, the lockdown situation where no one was doing anything for a while, and Strictly Ballroom got put back to 2021, and then it got put back to 2022. But the result of that meant that once we opened up again and theatres opened up again, I had sort of space in my diary, and all the shows that I was potentially talking to all kind of went back to back rather than it being spaced out. So as soon as theatres open again, I've just been back to back with shows.
Right,
just
and
doing
I'm
everything.
not saying it's a young man's game by any means, but it is tough. I mean, what you do for a living, you know, again, you know, you're not in the emergency services, and you know, you're not key work, you're not fighting wars or saving lives. But well, maybe you are, because you give out joy, and depending on what kind of mental state people are in when they go and see something that gives them a bit of escape and a bit of ecstasy, you may well be. I suppose you are, in fact, actually. So I'm going to take that right back. But it's a tough schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll be doing 8 shows a week.
How physical is it?
I mean, this show in particular, very physical, because I mean it's based around dancing. So so I'm doing a lot of dancing, a lot of singing, and at the moment we're sort of mid rehearsals at the moment, so things can always change about. But at the moment, I'm barely off the stage. You know, some shows you're sort of on for a number or two, then there'll be a few scenes that you're not in. But at the moment, I barely come off the stage to even have a glass of water. So yeah, this one's going to be really physical.
So you've got to really look after yourself as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I hired like a personal trainer and everything to get myself into my best shape possible. I'm trying to eat well, all of those things, trying to look after myself. Yeah.
Well, LeBron James famously spends $1 million a year on his well-being and his fitness, so he can eke out his career for as long as possible in basketball. There are now 4 top-level NFL players who are billion-dollar stars in their 40s, still playing at the highest level. Isn't that right, Bas?
Yeah, I mean, careers. I mean, you see it with Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, you see it with Roger Federer. You see it with Serena Williams, who's still, you know, kicking ass at the US Open. She beat the second seed 2 nights ago, and she's 41 this month. Yeah. You know, careers last longer because sports people know how to look after themselves much better.
You know, and so any hacks and hints you can pass on to people listening that you've benefited from a well-being point of view?
Well. A very big one for me was this was a couple of years ago though. I stopped drinking, so I cut out alcohol. I know that's a big thing for everyone, but
and that affects your decision-making process so much, doesn't it?
Yeah. It makes everything so much easier.
Because Johnny Wilkinson says the best way to change your decisions is to change your energy. So it's all about what you put in, the exercise, the sleep. That changes your energy, and then your decisions automatically get better. It's not an automatic process because you have to work really hard on yourself, but once you've done that work, you'll find you just start to make better decisions.
And I can feel the difference sat here on this show now. Like the few times that I've come in and sort of, you know, spoken to you on this show, I always remember sort of coming in the morning and having that dialogue in my head going, oh, you know, I'm not really a morning person, I feel tired, you know, oh, it's because I've been dancing so much, I've been making excuses for it, but actually it's just because I was probably didn't get enough sleep,
or you're anxious,
was eating the wrong things, drinking the wrong things, anxious, like whatever it is. Whereas actually right now I feel all right. I feel quite energetic. I've had enough sleep. I've had enough water.
Once again, if you want to see Kevin and his pals in Strictly Ballroom, the musical, then you go to strictlyballroommusical.co.uk for tickets, and it's all over the country, but hopefully not all over the shop.
No, it is in rehearsals at the moment, but it's going to be the best show ever.
Okay, mate. All right. Congratulations.
Cheers.
And give our love to Stacey.
Will do.
The best of the Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.
Virgin Radio.
To start a Grand Prix, the 5 red lights turn off. But with this week's location, they might be on all night. That's right, the Dutch Grand Prix is live and exclusive on Sky Sports F1 this weekend. Windmills to be spun and cheese to be scoffed. Here's a man as talented as Van Gogh. It's David Crofty Croft!
I think he might explode one day. I don't think it's going to be a long time coming. How are you, Crofty?
I'm very good. Good morning to you all from the 5th happiest country on planet Earth.
Interesting. Okay. Obviously, this is going to feature in your banter this weekend. Give us the other 4.
I thought we might have a little guest this morning. See, I've never met a Dutch person I don't like. I love being in Holland. It is great. Everyone walks around with a smile on their face and they party all night. But where do you think they could be happier than in Holland?
Norway.
Sweden.
Denmark.
Okay, so Norway you think is number 6.
New Zealand.
Sweden is number 7.
Yeah.
Denmark is definitely up there. Number 2, Denmark, but you're on the right lines with the Nordic countries.
Okay.
Finland.
Finland?
Yeah.
What about...
The happiest place on planet Earth is Finland.
Right, well, you wouldn't know from Kimi Räikkönen, would you?
It'll be nice to keep it quiet.
Yeah, you can keep things a bit too quiet, though, Crofty. What about, does Costa Rica feature?
Costa Rica does feature. It is number 16 and one place ahead of the United Kingdom. So I know things aren't great at the moment.
I'll take 15th. I'll take 15th.
No, 17th. 17th best. They're above us. 17th in the world. I think that's okay.
Out of 191, I'll take that. Crofty, last week, Adrian Newey, the chief engineer, the genius, the chief aerodynamicist at Red Bull, was at Carfest. And he's always on the pit wall, one way or another. He's either there or he does a virtual pit wall. He began his virtual pit wall role last week on Sunday morning on his laptop in his tent at Carfest. I know, because I was sitting next to him.
And did you know at that stage Max Verstappen was going to win the Belgian Grand Prix? Because the least surprising thing about Max winning from 14th last week was that he won, because he was so good last week.
Yeah, but as you said in your commentary, Crofty, his ascent from 14th to, say, 4th or 5th seemed pretty swift, but it's because everybody moved out of the way because they didn't want to hold themselves up by trying to hold him up.
It's a very good point. You've got to run your own race. It's your point.
You made it. I'm just nicking it.
That's why I'm agreeing with you. No, you ruin your race sometimes by defending too hard, and if you know you're not going to be there ahead of Max at the end of the line, you've got to make the best of what's left on that. But to start 14th and be ahead by the end of lap 12, that is a very, very decent achievement. And in the end, it's the biggest winning margin by a driver starting 10th or lower since Jenson Button in 2006 when he won the Hungarian Grand Prix. I mentioned that because we've got to give Jenson a bit of love. He's alongside me in the commentary box this weekend, and we love him. We love it when Jenson's with us.
Now, Crofty, I got to say this because, it's the elephant in the room. I'm still going to be glued this weekend. I know ratings are still through the roof. Drive to Survive is massive. We got to have our third United States Grand Prix coming onto the calendar next year. That's at Las Vegas, Miami, and Austin in Texas. But it's not as exciting as it was last year.
Nah. Well, listen, you're going to have to go some to be as exciting as it was last year, last race, etc. But you're right. Title's done. As far as I'm concerned, nobody beats Max Verstappen and Red Bull this season because they are the best all-round package. However they've done it, they've got best driver, best car, best combination, and they will win by a country mile, and Max Verstappen is in danger of beating the record for the most races won in a season. He's already won 9 this year. He won 10 in total last year. We've got 8 races to go. He could get the most podiums in the season, blah, blah, blah. Ferrari have had their opportunities, and they say they're within touching distance of Red Bull, but they're not close enough. And every time they do get close, they seem to make a mistake all of their own making. Mercedes are still trying to work out the car and how they set it up. And Red Bull have just done the best job. And what will happen, Chris Vassos, because of the cost cap regulations that we're all under now, teams will start to put next year into focus. So therefore, they'll stop developing this year, which means those that have got will carry on getting, and those that haven't will carry on struggling.
Same as Vass, because, after the first half hour of most shows, he thinks, I'll just focus on the rest of the day. So where might our viewing fun come from? What should we focus on to get a bit of excitement this weekend?
Okay, so what you've got between Sergio Perez and George Russell, you've got not an awful lot of points, quite frankly, in terms of second down to fifth. It's that the scrap for the best of the rest, I think, will be the interesting one. The scrap for, McLaren and Alpine, for instance, for fourth in the Constructors' Championship will be really interesting. The scrap, still think Mercedes could beat Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship because other than Lewis Hamilton's second retirement in the last 4 years, last time out, they have been the modicum of consistency this year, where Ferrari haven't necessarily done that. So there's an awful lot. But at the end of the day, whether you're focusing on the championship or the battle for seventh, the sight of cars going wheel to wheel at 200 miles an hour, I think, is exciting, whatever the state of affairs.
Right,
so,
and of course,
I'll live it up.
I've checked out all the online sites. I've even gone to Etsy and eBay. You can't get any orange flares anywhere because they're all going to be in the Netherlands, aren't they?
Yeah, as
so
Fernando
much
Alonso
smoke.
said. Yeah, Fernando Alonso said last time out here in Holland, because he was a bit further down the grid, he said, orange fog on the track. I take it max 1 then.
But it's basically all the way through the race, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And do you know what? It absolutely stinks as well. Our commentary boxes, right by the track. It was kind of seeping through the door.
And by the way, your smelly commentary box, that's a pretty high bar for other smells to infiltrate, isn't it?
I beg your pardon?
Come on, you know what it's like. Hermetically sealed, you and Brundle on the sauce all weekend.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you get a bit excited. And a bit of sweat comes off. It gets a bit stuffy in there.
Liquid adrenaline. All right, matey. Thank you very much, Crofty. Love you.
Love you too.
Goodbye.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Sky Sports F1 back on the air from 12:30. First practice in the Dutch Grand Prix today.
The best of the Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.
Virgin Radio.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast of the Virgin Radio Breakfast Show. Don't forget you can subscribe and get it every week from wherever you get your podcast, and you will never miss the weekly roundup of all the best bits from our Virgin Radio Breakfast Show with Sky.